Hey, everybody. My name's Eric. I'm making a game. That game is called the Godkiller. It's a 3D, top-down, puzzle, solving, adventure. I forget the last thing. Oh, a game. It's a game. Okay. So, you know that old phrase, living a life of quiet desperation? There's so many people in this world that have not yet found the thing for them, and they're searching for it. And it feels like there is some place in life that you were meant to be, something you were meant to do, your cause, your purpose, your expression of yourself. And I believe that, that there is one thing that is the best thing for you to be doing in this world. But it just may not be what you thought it was going to be. So a lot of us, when we start out, we saw, football players or basketball players or rappers or, astronauts, I guess. When you're a kid, you come up with these ideas of things that are more in line with what's entertaining to you or what you think is cool. They don't actually have that much to do with what you're actually good at, what kind of stuff you got inside of you that's going to make you the best thing you can be. So I put it to you that the thing that you may be best at in this world may not be the thing you most want to do. You could be like a dishwasher repair person. You might be the best friggin' dishwasher repair person in the world, but you never tried it, you never thought about it. It might be something that people don't even think of normally as a job, that you're the best possible person to do it. Like rubbing dogs' bellies. Like you could be so good at rubbing dogs' bellies that you should spend all your time doing it. Now, early on in Sean Penn's life, he was a world-class dog belly rubber, and nobody would pay him, but they'd get like maybe 100 dogs all in a row, and he'd go one to the first dog, he'd rub its belly, the dog would get super happy, he'd go to the second, third, fourth, just all the way down the line, and there's a big crowd around him. He was the shit at rubbing dogs' bellies. And then he parlayed that into an acting career, and it's a sad thing because he's not a good actor. He was a very good dog belly rubber, but he was a shit actor. And that's where a lot of times we go wrong. So keep that in mind as you choose your place in the world. You don't know what's best for you. The world knows what's best for you. And if you're lucky, you'll find out. All right. With that said, let's go on to a demo of the game I'm making. By the way, the best possible thing for me to be doing is this game, and you're gonna learn that. So let's do a quick demo. Let me turn off the. Wait, let me get the. All right, get a little breeze going here. All right, what am I up to? I am up to let's see. I want to broadcast my work iMac over to my other computer, which is used for sending stuff out. Okay, and then sorry, I should apologize. This is not a good start of a demo. By the way, hilarious video here. I was searching for Stella Emanuel for some reason, and I came up with Murder Fist, the doll maker. Funny as all fuck. Alright. So I thought I might show you an unintended result. Something that actually looks terrible. No, it's not quite right. It's not what I want to be in the game, but it's worth taking note of it because it seems like this effect I unintentionally created might be interesting to come back to later. So I ran a bake, and the end result of that bake is that the joints between all these pipes have got this really bright bloom point. There's no reason to. I'm not emitting a light source from that material. I think it has something to do maybe with two surfaces being right next to each other and kind of like jammed up against each other. Something like that. I don't know. It's weird though. I don't have a good explanation for it. I will have to fix it. But it is kind of interesting. So I'll show you what it looks like. There's a lot of shimmering, but the shimmering doesn't continue to produce the effect. Basically, when the camera comes to a stop, so does the shimmering. It looks a little bit, you know, like Christmas lights or something festive. Now if I go up here, there's even more of this business. And here's the part where this bug basically is giving me a little bit of inspiration. I wanted to have, I won't do it in this session, but I wanted to have some background buildings that would be off to the side someplace, a little bit like these walls are off to the side here. And they'd be far in the distance. And I wanted them to look like they might actually be complicated buildings with lots of details and stuff, even though they should be very low poly. And it seemed to me that having some kind of repetition like this on the vertical with some unevenness to where all the points of light are, just like I have here, might be a good way to make up a city type thing, like whatever whatever level you're in is nestled inside of a larger city. And the lights, which are bloom points, having them be dynamic so that they sort of sparkle in interesting ways. That's a good way to add some liveliness to them. I don't think I'd have them be as crazy as this current effect, but a little bit of blinking and shimmering, and I think it could work. So here's an example of a bloom point that got way out of control. There's just this big blob of white light here. I keep going over here, it's just going to get more crazy. This is all unintended. I'll have to get rid of it at some point. But like I said, it's an interesting effect. If I were to recreate it, I wouldn't create it by doing it this way. I would just create some materials that have emission properties and maybe add some scripts to make them have a dynamic quality to them, like change their intensity. I guess blink is another word for what I just said. Okay. So that is insane, and I will have to fix it, but it's kind of neat. May provide inspiration for something better. Okay, what else? What else? From the session yesterday, I worked on some stuff that is really not that demoable. It has to do with a quest to make these squares more accurately predictive of what will happen if you move in one of the 4 directions. So right now, they'll show you the directions it's possible to move in. Right now I can see I can go west, east, south, but not north. North is blocked. Okay, it'll show push warnings And these are intentionally very subtle. They're meant to be there if you want to look for them. If you don't want to look for them, you can ignore them. But the push warning, it's an arrow facing in the opposite direction. It means that if you choose to move into this space, this open space between the two of you, you're going to get pushed north. Like that. Now you could, after playing this a little bit, you wouldn't need those guides to tell you that that's going to happen, because whenever there's one empty space in between you and an enemy and you move into it, the enemy is going to move right after and knock you around. But then I thought, you know, we've got different types of enemies. They may have differing behaviors. Like maybe one doesn't want to push you. I did start to write some special casing around that a while back. But the special casing, where does it ever end? There's also things like ice, where it's not really correct to say that if I move left or west that I'll end up in this square. I would prefer to have the square be out over here, which is where I'll actually end up moving if I move west. And similarly, there's a push warning here, but it's not based on there being ice. So if I move east here, I'll actually push this guy because there's ice, because it'll allow me to move all the way over to where he is in one step, instead of moving just one step forward and then he comes and pushes me. So that knocked him off, and he came back after he resurrected. Here's another example of prediction. So it'll show me where I'll drop down here if I go west or east, which is often useful, particularly if you get really high up. It gets a little bit more difficult to see where you're going to land, but those guides will help tell you. So here I can see if I want to go east, I'll land on this higher floor. If I want to go south, I'll land right on one of the enemies far down there, maybe 50 meters down, and I'll land right on his head and squash him. And the guy next to him pushed me right after I squashed the first enemy. So I thought, can I just make a general way of predicting things that uses the game engine itself to learn the results of any potential command the user might issue? I think I can, particularly because at the beginning of this I detached the game logic from the visualization of it, which is this scene that you see in front of you. If you're familiar with Unity, you know there's a scene that's got game objects in it. Those game objects have got different properties to them that control how they're displayed. My game logic and my game state is encapsulated away from the presentation, so it can run without needing to update the screen. There's a thing called a board, which is the container for all that game state and game logic, and I can say update the board in a single function call. I can say update the board for the command walk north, and without making any calls to UI related stuff, without updating the screen, it'll change all the state, and it will return a list of changes to make to the scene, but I don't have to make them. So there's these things called effects, which are those changes that are generated by the move. When those are returned, I can just discard them without doing anything about them, and I can instead look at the game state and see what's the end result of moving. So I created 4 boards. I call them predictive boards, and they are for each of the 4 directions that you could travel. And The trick is it's a very complex data structure, and to create a copy of one of the main board, to make a predictive board, I have to copy all kinds of objects inside of it. And that means a bunch of allocations. And I don't want to make allocations every single time the player moves. So what I settled on was that I would make 4 initial allocations or copies of the board into predictive boards. And I would do this one time when the level loads. Then after that, I would simply synchronize between the main board and the copies, the predictive boards. I said simply, but there's nothing simple about it. I have to write some code for each and every little thing in this world to have copy A synchronized to copy 2. I'm about halfway through that. And some of the objects I've left are fairly complex. So it's not the most photogenic task. That's not the right word, but it's not a very visual task. It's a lot of coding. It's a lot of data structures. That's what I'm going to be working on in this session. You're quite welcome to watch me, to chat with me while I'm working. I love company. I love comments. Don't need them. I can work in complete solitude. But if you feel like hanging out, all good with me. All right. So let's get to it. I think, just for the hell of it, I'm going to go to the next level. Now I'm being self-indulgent. I should get to work. I did find one case for camera movements that looks kind of bad. That one's okay. Weird. Now it doesn't look bad. I don't get it. Huh. There's something different about running this in broadcast mode versus running it full screen. Okay, never mind. I don't want to get off into a different problem. I'm here to solve the first thing I talked about, which is that serialization that's needed to make the predictive boards, which will eventually feed these squares and where they go and what they show. Alright, so let's turn off maximize, unplay. Let's see. I'm going to open that other scene. Delete me one. I may get interrupted at some point soon to just go grab a delivery, but it's just a real small delivery, so I'll just, when it happens, I won't stop the stream. I'll just go out for 3 minutes or so and get the delivery. Okay. So I have been fixing warnings that came up. Let me see how many more of these objects I've got to do. So let's go to, where is it? Here, yeah, okay. So I did all these, did this. Brawler piece. Okay, I think I should knock out these three while it's fresh in my mind, because they're all the same as the brawler, pretty much. Bystander. So what else we got? Is afraid. Make a few stylistic changes while I'm here. These don't matter at all. It's like popping bubble wrap. I just can't help myself. The sad thing is 6 months from now, my style will change again and this code will look wrong to me. I know what they're going to do. They're going to make a ternary operator. Am I right? Huh. I don't know. It's not really easier for me to understand. I'll put it back. Okay. That's the bystander. Oh, I forgot. trying to put all the serialization and syncing stuff all in one place. The idea is that if I change the member variables, which are also right up at the top, I'll just make all the changes all together. I always forget what this symbol means. Is it control option? Is it shift option? And then it ends up making me do other things when I get the guess wrong. Control command, option command. Did I get it? No. And then if I try to search for this on Google, how do you search for this? You say, what does symbol mean? You know. All right, what is it? It's using system numer. Bonus piece. What is it? What is it? System collections? Is that what you need? System collections. That's it. Okay, so the spiker, one more, the heavy. Let's see, hold on, anything else in here? I'll stop popping bubble wrap. Don't need to do that. Okay. I'm gonna get like a little drink to bring back up here. Be right back. Alright. Best thing is cold water that doesn't have ice in it. No clacking on your teeth. But still cold. That's the best thing. Alright, I sink a bowl. Okay, those should be good. Some days I just know they're going to be a little bit tough. I just don't know if I want to chew them off right now. Axles are going to be tough. Beamers maybe not. I think I'll throw the beamers in. Yeah, let me do a beamer. So it feels like I could just rename this now. Make life better. Let's see. No, this is not serializable. Okay, so I will need to serialize that too. I think. Maybe I don't. It's got a direction, emit offset, emit CRH length. Okay, let me see. So, 2. I wonder if this. I'll leave it be. It's annoying warning. That's why I have default. So you know what would be cool for my session goal? Now I've got almost all of these guys that I need. So they have like these methods for creating copies of themselves and synchronizing. What would be cool is if in this session I can just get those board copies to be successfully created and commands executed on them. That would be pretty cool. For me anyways. Maybe not for you. That's alright. We can have different things that we think are cool. I mean, for you it might be jet skis. That's alright. I outgrew jet skis, you know. To me, jet skis are just time spent in small claims court, or the potential for it. Okay, so let's go back to board. Okay, so for now nothing happens in board sync 2, but that can change. But I'm not gonna do that in this session. I want to just successfully execute one command. Where is it? Predictive boards. Okay. All this is done. All this is moot. Okay. Okay. I've not looked at anything in these so far, so I think it would make sense for me to just step through a bunch of stuff here. Alright. I find this annoying. Forget what even is Face Picker 2. Oh, that's Pro Builder. Okay. Looks like the kind of problem that is caused by a force quit. It'd be great if it just kind of cleared it up by generating the meta file for it. But actually, no, I don't. I remember now. What happens is it creates like a copy. I don't know why. And it's not a copy I need. Wish it would just take me right to the location. Maybe it will. No, it won't. There. Where's this stupid thing? I just don't want to mess with it right now. Just fucking go. Something bad happened. What was it? That's probably that change I made to Beamer. So if I go to tags, I have to add one for... Let's see. Can I get rid of this one? Let's get rid of Trencher. Let's add Beamer. Okay. Let's fix the Beamer. Tag here. Yeah. Okay, I think the delivery's here. Hold on, be right back. It wasn't the delivery, or at least not the delivery I cared about. It was a different delivery. So with that fixed, let's see what happens when I hit play. Oh, my breakpoints did not run. Well, at least nothing broke. Forgot to run the debugger. Okay. Here we go. Let's step in. Okay, I'm going to take a look at what the new heights are, see if it looks like a healthy data structure. 109, 103. That matches. I'm sorry, there's a sound I have no explanation for, and it makes me wonder what the hell it is. Just one moment. It's just my chair. Huh. Okay, squares. I think that first row is empty on purpose. It's a little bit like the Matrix, but like I can read these things and tell if they're what they mean. This means a square that is empty all the way through, like there's no floors or ceilings. Okay, here we go. So then we got this here is the infinite depth. This is the ceiling above it of the giant wall, then it goes a little ways, and here's the top of the giant wall or a floor. Then there's the infinite height or the sky there. So this is pretty consistent. So that copying basically worked. Let me check the far end of it. Okay, cool. And then one column back. Okay, there I get my variety there. Okay, cool. So heights looks good. Now let's find all the O pieces. I have two layers, an O layer and an M layer. M layer tends to be things that could move, but not always. Creatures and stuff like that. And O layer tends to be things that are fixed, but not always. Okay, spikes, block pad, lots of ice. An egg. Spikes. So here I go through and I say, if it's not mutable, I'm just going to share the instance between the main board and the copy. I'm going to assume that I don't need to create a brand new instance for it. Somebody else just did a delivery. Okay, I'm going to go downstairs and get that. Okay. Be right back. Alright, back to work, back to work, back to work. Got my groceries delivered. Alright, so we say for these pieces, any that are not mutable, we'll go ahead and set them. Okay. Which one's that? Block pad piece, right. Okay, that's going to take a long time to go through all that. So let's just skip ahead. Cool. Okay, M pieces. I think there should be 2. 6? Okay, what are those? Oh, I forgot. Blocks are M pieces too. Cool. So those are all going to be mutable. So they will not be added. Okay, now I get the mutables. What do I think I'll have in here? I'll have the blocks, the brawler, the player. What else? The egg. I'm picturing the level in my mind and what's inside of it. Spikes. What do I actually have here? Yep, just what I said. Okay, let me see what this block looks like. That's right. It's good. Another block. Another block. Block. Brawler. See what the brawler looks like. I think this is invalid CRH, a specific constant. This looks healthy. It's looking healthy. Okay, cool. Ooh, the player piece. The all-important player piece. Okay, all good. Spikes. Cool. Should be no waypoints or zones. Yep. Ooh, there's one zone. Operation zone, okay. So that's one board. And I think it's just gonna... Oh, let me go into the linkage. I'm curious about that. Alright, so this class is used to figure out the how instances in one location, in one board map to another instance in the other board. Cool, I'm glad these two match. I'd also like to make sure that they're in the same order. So it's 4 blocks of brawler and in spikes. And then this other one, 4 blocks of brawler, spikes. Cool. Is this the same? $61, $12.46. Nice. So I've got 2 indexes here. One going in one direction to say for any given instance of a piece on the from board, what's the equivalent instance on the to board, and then the opposite way. For any to piece, what's the from piece? And these are just 2 dictionaries set up. Okay, this just looks like it's going to work. So step out. I'm associating 4 different commands with each of the predictive boards. A command is something the player can do, like walk in one of the 4 directions. Okay, now it's completed. So I'm going to let it run so I can get to the next breakpoint. Here it is. Here's where it will attempt to update a board with a command. And this is one of the predictive boards. It's not the main board. This is a little bit exciting to me. Who am I kidding? It's very exciting. Let's see where the player piece is now. This is going to be moving north. 22, 21, 38. That last number is what matters. Actually, no, that's the birth egg piece. 44. That row number is what matters. So there's so much logic in here, and it's interesting because the other predictive code that I wrote is a subset of all this logic. So all of these things that could happen when you move in one of the directions, all this logic, I get to repeat it without having to write a bunch of code again on it. And if I change some code here so that the behavior is different for when the player walks, that same code will automatically be updated for use in the predictions that power the guide squares. Okay, here it will add an effect. Going to update the board. The new row should be like 45, I think, or 43. Okay, what was the old one? 44. Okay, 44 to 43. That makes sense. And this is the new thing I don't have in my prediction guide, is the sliding. Does letter gate have state? It does. It does. It does. So I'll also need to at some point add this in. to It's thought of an interesting idea. Nah, it's not good. I was thinking, I've done all the work to figure out the board state for one possible action. So if the user does choose that action, I could reuse that updated board state from the prediction and just make that the main board. But I realized that I would lose all the linkage between my game objects and the scene view that are actually there in the main board but not the other. Okay, that shit worked. Whoa, where did I go next? Oh, I'm in the coroutine. Okay, fine. Pretty cool. I did a rebuild because I changed a comment. I didn't actually save anything, which is the irritating thing. Most things about Writer I like a lot better than Visual Studio, but for some reason it feels compelled to save and rebuild even if I just want to add a little note. Okay. Oh, I did beam. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So I still got a fair amount of time on the clock before my brain shuts down and I can start getting stupid. And I accomplished the session goal I gave myself. So I want to keep going. I think, what do I want to do next? I think it would be good to get the board sync code working. So right now I've got a big old placeholder. I think I will just follow the lead of create copy. So I'll go heights sync to board heights. I'm just going to pass mutable linkage to everything, even if it doesn't actually need it, because then maybe later on I do want it, so no reason to pass null. That's, hey Purpose Drifter, I'm thinking about your advice. So if I was going to try something really, really hard next, yeah, it would give me pause. But I think I'm on the right path. That's a good nickname. Good handle. Purposed Drifter. I don't know how you came about to choose that name. Okay, so here I just want to get all the mutables. Yeah, I think. Yeah, only mutables. Well, this is my second shift of the day. Got my day job and then get off work and then I say let's do this project. This is my fun project. It gives me a second win because it's mine and I want to see it done. But yeah. Let's see. So mutable piece, we say syncable. Let's see. Piece sync to syncable. Oh, wait a minute. No. I need to use my mutable linkage to get the destination piece. So we'll say piece, to piece equals mutable linkage. Okay. What am I taking this from? Okay, so this is from which board? It's from the to board. So I'm going to the from. Syncable, and I think I'll just go ahead and do the cast here. Call this from piece just to help me keep it straight. And I'm going to change this to from piece. And we'll call this from piece syncable. Okay. We want from piece syncable to sync to piece. Is that right? Is that right? Let me look that over. No, that's okay. Waste. You know, I said that I had the juice, but now I'm seeing I might be getting close to frazzled here. This is messing me up a little bit. Okay. But I want to get this. So this is every piece of mutables. This is coming from the current board. That's a from piece. And say if from piece is, I already know it is syncable. So let's just link that. Take this out. Simplify it all. And where I want to get to is weird. From piece single sync 2, and then it's expecting 2 piece to be just a regular piece. Yes. So get rid of this. Okay, and this is wrong. It should be starting from going to 2. This is my lookup index to get the right piece. And now what? Oh yeah, we gotta pass in mutable linkage. Okay. Let me see the note I left to myself earlier. That seems fine. That might be correct code. That seems pretty good. But I am remembering that I still need yeah, it always feels like there's a different version of yourself that wrote these things and you're communicating with them. So the other thing is set of heights. I think I left it to do there. Heights is a collection of all the floors and ceiling values. Just go over here. This is also syncable. There it is. Now that I've done that twice, feels like refactoring would be appropriate. Oh, I already did this. Okay. So let's see. Let's go ahead and say against get calls. So let's see, 2 squares CR equals I don't want to give myself that much credit, but I tell you, just reading that paragraph you wrote freaks me out, man. That's. And you actually remember you already thought of something you knew you were going to need, and then subsequently forget. When wild code scheming, remember guessing most of this code base is entirely in your head. Oh man, are you like some kind of weird manifestation of the code in my head? Is that what's going on? That was a complicated statement you just made, sir. Quite complicated. I do appreciate it, though. Okay, so I need to do something here like copy. Copy what? What is it? It is a square height. Is that it? Okay, let's do it. Let's see. Squares. C R. Let's go look at that structure. Okay, so I've got a constructor that'll take an array, but that's not going to copy it though. That's just going to set it. Okay, so all of the data in this structure is inside this array. C sharp copy array. That's it. That is exactly what I'm looking for. Array copy. Okay, so if I say oops. This is copy to. Clone. Okay, there we go. That's it. That's all I need for now. Jeez. So this is going to return an object array, or an object. All right, hold on. So the object. It's an odd thing for it to put a copy of it into an object. Oh, I guess I understand why it would do that. I just need to cast. So it's not a generic function, so I have to do int that. Okay, it makes some sense actually. Okay, so I say to do revise square height structure to use fixed memory data type. Otherwise, I will be allocating your memory for a frame. So, you're a C# coder. You're also a Unity coder, right? Game developer. You know why it's not good. Garbage collection, right? Yeah. But it's such. So I started with Unity development about a year and a half ago. Yeah, my background's C and C++ about 15 years back, and then other languages. So we'll probably have similar stuff in our heads. And there's that old rule, don't optimize prematurely. But that is a piece of advice that has built into it a hedge word, which is premature. What would have been wonderful to know when I started the project is this limitation of garbage collection and how it'll make you drop frames. Because I would have designed all of my data structures from the very beginning that needed to be used, modified in the updates, to have fixed data. Okay. Working on monogame. I don't know what monogame is. Yeah. I always hate this statement. This statement, don't optimize prematurely. It's like saying, don't go too fast. What's the definition of too fast? What's the definition of premature? It presupposes you have a certain amount of judgment to know when you shouldn't do something at the beginning. It would not have been premature optimization for me to use these data structures that avoid allocating memory. It would have been appropriate optimization. So now I've got a fair amount of work to come back and fix some of these things. But I'm not going to let that get in the way of me completing this particular problem today. Interesting. Yeah, I never looked into monogame. So in version 2.0, you say I can worry about like the version 2.0 of this game. Yeah. I will get it. I've got a good track record of coming back to my to-dos. Not too many open. Pretty scrupulous with them. I'll get to it. But for the moment, I'd love for this to properly sync between the two structures. Looks like I'm probably pretty close. Let me see what happens inside the debugger. Yep, exactly right. But it does make me think, though, the next time I start with a new language, instead of just kind of charging in, I'll look for one of those, or 5 of those articles that say top 10 mistakes developers in Haskell make, or whatever the new language is that I'm in. I think that'll save me some grief, because this was out there. This particular best practice was well known. Just got to search around a little bit. Top 10 mistakes new Unity devs make, and this would have came right up. Nice. So it's a good thing we're just making games and not like nuclear launch pad controllers with this Unity thing. All right. Okay, so did it build? It built. Run, debug. Oh yeah, there we go. So this I already know works. Step through it. There's the sync. Okay, now I'll get to see. Huh, it didn't step in. Well, let's look at what it created. Okay, this is a healthy data structure. Yeah. Let's see. So, block piece. All of these will be. Nothing's changed yet, so these should all just copy data in a way that doesn't really change anything. Okay. Drift, are you working on a game these days? Okay, that seems fine. Let's see. There's only like 11 pieces. I'm just going to see if any of them crash. Oh, 10 pieces. Okay. There. Made it. Interesting. I should read more Unity news. I think there's some part of me that doesn't want to know what's new about Unity coming up because I started my game a year or so back, and it'll be bothersome to me. It's the thing, like, if they would have had this thing when I started, I would have done it the new way. But it's kind of good. It's good to keep up on it, though. I saw that one demo they had of the city. Like, there's like a car that flies through it. It's just massive and seamless, and has cool load-on-demand tricks, and that really impressed me. And I forget what the term was. It's probably ties into the data-oriented design. That's some term of how to divide up the data and code in the object, and the objects are used. But I don't know. So impressive results anyway. Handmade network. Hold on. Cool. Alright, let me see. I got alright, so let's hit play, see what things look like. So I'll explain the overall thing I'm trying to do. In my game here, there's these pink squares that show next to the player, and they show a prediction. I also cut me off if you were lurking at the beginning because it's a bit of a repeat, but they show a prediction of what will happen when you move into the square. And I covered a lot of different cases, and the edge cases continued to grow. And the most recent one is this interaction with the ice here. So if I move east, I go all the way across the ice, and I want like these squares to show the end result of that action. So instead of being right here, the square should be out over here. So I could write some code that goes and checks, so there's ice there, what if where will you end up? But then there's just more and more edge cases that come up. So what I settled on was to have 4 extra copies of the game state. And the game state is like in an MVC style where the model is completely detached from the view, as is the controller. So I can perform those commands on the game state and say, what happens if you walk left? And then it'll come back with the updated game state. I can just look at that. Yeah, and so it's the deluxe solution for coming up with this prediction. Right now it creates 1 copy of the game state when you start out. That's called the board. And then in a background threaded way, it synchronizes those 4 boards as you do things that update the game state. And then the last little piece to hook up is analyzing that updated game state and using it to put these squares in the right places. And also I get some more features from that, like I can say, like, if you're going to go this way and die, maybe I want to show like a little skull or something. or might have some enemies you fight against that also have prediction capabilities and avoid making mistakes. Anyways, so it seems like my code is working, and I think the final thing I'll try to do in this session is to get those squares hooked up so that they actually come from the prediction instead of the kind of crappy half-assed version of prediction that I do now. Thank you. Let's see. Player guide, where are you at? Up above. Pieces, no. Logic, no. Guides, here we go, player guide. Okay, so I say when the board changes, we start creating the predictions in the background. Okay. Oh, I gotta do one more thing. Let's go back to heights, just to make this just a little more palatable to me. I'll avoid allocating something new if both arrays match. So let's say I should encapsulate this. If okay, I'm going to test you again. Maybe you'll save me some time. An array equality method. See, do you know, is there one? It probably is. Let's see. Maybe equals will do it. Now it's probably going to check reference. Yeah, that's it basically. C# compare arrays for equality. I mean, I can write a function to do it. It's real easy, but if there's one that already exists, I'll just yes, it does. Okay, system link. Well, hopefully this call is not worse than allocating. It would have to be better than allocating all of those each time. True that. Okay, what? Oh yeah. True. Okay, so there's that. And let's see. This should be the opposite. If the sequence is not equal, then go ahead and just allocate a complete clone and put it over into the destination. Yeah. Okay, so when does this get called? I can say so this is my old logic, and it's definitely too simple. I don't have any code to display the walk squares at a different location. Let's see. Let's get the predictive board that corresponds to the direction. I could with adding code. I think what I wanted to do was just move the square to wherever the new location is. That might be too much to bite off in this session, but I just want, in this session I'm just going to try for some kind of linkage between the prediction that affects the squares. So let me see. Did I just make these public? Is that what I did? Yeah, exactly. But right now the assumption of the code is that the squares will always be in the same spot. So let's see. So predictive boards. Yeah, okay, so those are there. Dang it. Why is it doing... Oh, I guess... Oh, okay. I got it. That's gonna annoy me so much. So I have a public type in here. And I think I'll just give it its own class. It'll make this a lot less stupid. Okay, so now I can just like that. Okay, now okay. Yeah, exactly. Oh wait, there's already player CRH. Okay, cool. CRH stands for column row height. So I'll say that if in the predictive board the player position changed, the walk was successful, and yeah, so the structure of it is when you issue the command, the game state is entirely updated then, so that you don't have to wait for any animations to be performed before knowing the game state. It returns these things called effects, which is a list of updates to make to the Unity scene, but the real truth is in the game state. Okay. Just looking through this. So here I get the predictive board for this direction that I'm checking. I get the new predicted position of the player after they execute that movement in that direction. Check if they were actually successful in moving. If they were successful, so I'm stubbing this extra bit of functionality related to showing a push warning. Then I take the height of the predicted movement and show the square at that height. And then this is some animation related stuff. Okay. There's about, I think, a 7% chance of this working the first time. As soon as it works, I'm going to declare a session victory and stop the stream, because it's getting to that point. Okay. Okay, this stupid thing came from a force quit. I'll have to deal with that later. Okay. Here goes. Okay, index out of range exception. Okay, let's see what that is. What is walk square count? 5. Okay, that's wrong. And that doesn't map because I've got... Okay, cool. Alright, let's instead use... Okay, these are the walk score deltas. Oh. I hate it when I do that. First one. Actually, I don't need this. Save. first one is the middle square, so that doesn't have a prediction associated with it, but I still need to have it animate. I think it does fine if I go yeah, if I understand you correctly, yes. Okay, so it should be direction In fact, make this a little simpler. Prediction. Oh, okay, I got 5 squares. Okay, I didn't break anything. All the multi-threading is running pretty well. Now let's see if I can get the pink square to go away when there's an obstacle. Okay, it's not an obstacle to my west, but it did affect... Oh! Okay. The question is it hiding it, or is it just rendering it underneath of the game object so I can't see it? Okay, here's the thing. The evaluation of the predictions is not right. That's fine. But I do know that those predictions are running, and they're getting some kind of results to my algorithm that will show these pink squares. And there's more to debug there, but you're actually, for me, this is you're sharing kind of a nice moment. This is one I think that this whole scheme is probably going to work. And I'll get to do some cool shit later on. So yeah, I'm pretty happy right about now. Even if it's a step backwards in the functionality that I had previous, there's just going to be a few things to work out, and the basic concept is good. And just do a little stability check, kind of run around a little bit and see if I get any issues. Exactly right. It's performant. I don't see evidence of weirdness. Alright, man. It's victory for me. It's the end of my session. Thanks for sharing it with me. Thanks for your insights. It's gonna be good when I'm done. Yeah, definitely come back and hang out. I like to talking with you while you're here. Yeah, you bet. You bet. I'm gonna go get some dinner and TV together. Talk to you later. See ya.